what motivated me was to help people, because that's all I really want to do in life, is to help people, especially those in my position or my old position. So I really wanted to help these people. And I think by creating awareness and doing what I do, I think I help these people. I'm going through my messages right now, and it's honestly so sweet because everyone's telling me, "Oh, I love your content and you saved me." So it's really sweet and I love it.
That's really like superb and motivating as well. Like, how old are you right now?
14.
14. You really are doing a great job, I feel. You're amazing, and all your posts are amazing. The way you are creating or touching people's lives, the way you are creating the change within them, the slowly and bit by bit and pieces by pieces. I have even read few comments where people were getting that involved with your videos. It was beautiful. And what were your onset signs and early awareness or early signs that you observed in yourself, and how did you um, describe it as? At what age did you feel that you were struggling, and how did it happen with you in the with your personal experience?
Mm-hmm. So I struggled with bullying about my weight and my appearance since I was a kid. So since I was about 6, I got told to go on a diet because I used to do lots of sport. So I was very muscly, but I wasn't fat. I was just very muscly. And people mistook it for fatness. And I used to get told that I should lose weight, I should eat salad, I should go on diets. And so that really impacted me and it went into my head. And then when I was 12, I went on like a 1 month diet and I lost a lot of weight. And that was really eye opening to me. I thought, so the first sign that you need to check out is like when you want to lose weight, but you're taking very big extremes like leaving out sweets or going to a big extreme like leaving out certain food groups, then that is definitely a warning sign.
So, according to the clients that I had, I observed a very common sign that whenever you are beginning to have those early signs, you tend to leave yourself, or you want to dine alone. You don't want to be in a community setting whenever you are having food. Is that a common early warning sign that
Yes,
you?
that is because when you have an eating disorder, you usually don't want to you don't want to eat in front of other people, so because you feel like you're eating more than them, or you might feel like when you eat less it's an accomplishment, but you don't want to accomplish it because in the back of your head you always know that it's something wrong. So eating by yourself, not eating with others, is definitely something to look out for, but I wouldn't say it's one of the biggest warning signs. Definitely a really big warning sign is drastic weight loss, and definitely look out for hair loss. And
Okay.
because when you're under eating, then these hair loss, this weight loss, it's all impacting. Your skin is impacted because your body doesn't have enough energy to do these normal human things to grow hair. So instead, it makes the hair fall out because it just doesn't have the energy because you don't get food.
I didn't know about the hair fall thing because I felt like the weight loss is a common aspect that you can check out for. But there are also more of signs, right? Like whenever you are having food with other people or in your community setting, if you suddenly get the urge to go to the washroom, you want to puke out or you want to vomit whatever you had with the fear of gaining the weight. Mostly I've seen that very commonly.
Mm-hmm. So I think it really depends on the eating disorder you have because there's over 5 different eating disorders. There's anorexia, which I had like many different, I had about 4 different eating disorders. But
Mhm.
anorexia is when you really want to lose weight and you're fully going, you want to get the calories of the food and you just want to lose weight. Bulimia is that you throw up after eating.
Okay.
Binge eating is the complete opposite. Usually it's in overweight people, but it can also be that's what I'm currently struggling with. It's when you need the urge to binge, you like completely black out, and then by the end of the blackout, you wake up, and you have all this food eaten in front of you, all these wrappers. So that's binge eating. So it isn't restrictive. It's like the complete opposite. You're eating way too much, but it's like you're not controlling it. You're just taking and taking and taking. And then there's RFID, which is avoidant restrictive intake food disorder, which is like you hate the textures, and that is you hate the textures, and you feel nauseous because of food, not because of the calories or the macros, but because of
Yeah.
the. Then you have pica, which means, or pica, that means you eat like really normal things like scissors and glue, and you have a problem that you continue eating that.
Mhm.
And then the eating disorder I started with was orthorexia, and that's when you're focusing on a healthy lifestyle. So you're focusing on the macros, how many carbs it has, the sugar, and all you want to do is, it's not always about losing weight, it's more about trying to be as healthy as possible.
Right. And what stage do you feel do you get the fear foods? With the sight of a certain food, you cannot stand it all. Some people tend to just draw back as soon as they see cookies. They can't stand the sight of it. So, where is this common in all the eating disorders that you have certain type of
No.
fear food? No.
So every single eating disorder is different. You cannot assume that it's always, the thing I hate is that there's so many ideas of what an eating disorder is. Like you have a tube in your nose, or you aren't eating, like exactly like you said, there's all these stereotypes about eating disorders, but every single eating disorder is different, and every single one has to be approached differently. With binge eating, it's usually the cause of emotions, and they're all rooted differently. So binge eating is rooted in emotions. Usually anorexia is rooted in the need to feel control. So it usually, every single eating disorder is different, and you cannot say, oh well, this is associated to all eating disorders, because it never is. There is no single characteristic associated with one eating disorder. And I would also say that every single individual is different. You will never have a person who is the same as someone else. So me and my friends, we have the same eating disorder. We used to have anorexia, but both of us had really different things. I was focused more on the purity of food, and while she was more on the calories. And every single person and every single eating disorder is different, and you cannot stereotype them because they're all different.
Right. I myself was struggling with binge eating disorder for a certain time, and I kind of understand the urge of like blacking out, where you are. Mine started, I think, because of boredom, because I was left alone at home, and the only thing that I can control is food. So that started becoming a habit that whenever I am bored, I would like to binge. I would like to eat more and more to give me the satisfaction, to give me that kind of dopamine rush, like give me that rewarding satisfaction emotion in my head. And that took me like understanding the whole nature of food, that how to control and what is actually the psychological factor, which actually it's very difficult to make others understand, because you cannot explain it that with every person the psychological factors is very difficult and different, and you have to hack each person's thought process to understand why they are acting the way they are acting. So it's not about just generalizing one treatment plan, and I completely do relate to you when you say that one kind of general treatment cannot cure all the kind of eating disorders, even though the names might be same, the types might be same, but the nature or the symptoms or the signs in each person differs very much prominently. And what do you think is the change that brought in the relations around you while you were having those signs? Did you all like most of the eating disorders, do you feel like isolated, you are secluding yourself from the people that you love, or your relationships are affected very much prominently?
So I just muted myself because there was like feedback. I would say that I really isolated myself because I was ashamed of it, and I still am like pretty ashamed of it. Yes, last night even though I'm in recovery, I still have these bad days. So last night I had this chocolate, and because I still feel because I love food. I completely love food, but sometimes I still feel bad for loving food. It's like the Ed voice in my head. And I go, yes, I did not eat that chocolate. So when my mum asked me, did you eat the chocolate because there's crumbs everywhere? I said no, because I was just ashamed of it. So I would say even in recovery, you do lie, and lying is a really common thing during eating disorders. So lying and isolating yourself is so, it's, I wouldn't say so, but it's quite common, and it happens in lots of eating disorders. But if it doesn't happen to you, it doesn't mean you're less valid or anything. Because any of these things that happen, if they don't happen to you, to all the listeners, to all the audience listening, if any of these things do not happen to you, it does not mean you are less valid. It does not mean that you deserve less help because you don't have this certain thing.
That's great. That's a great point, because whenever people are trying to fight with themselves from inside, they want to hear from someone, that they want to hear a validation from outer sources coming in, that this is a problem that can be supported and we can support you. Many of them are struggling to seek and go outside to the platform and say for themselves that I need help, because accepting is the first struggle. I felt like unless and until you don't accept it by yourself, no one can support you. You're not happy to take help or support from others. It will be always a fight from internally and as well as with the world to make to the urge that you have to fit in, to prove to everyone that I am okay. That is always a struggle. So it's good to just accept it and understand that unless and until you are not diagnosing yourself, you are not accepting it, there is no way you are coming out of it. So for me as well, I used to think that it was okay, like the way I'm eating is just individualistic or a subjective way of eating. I never felt that that was actually a disorder. It took me a whole lot of understanding, researching anorexia, or understanding seeing different clients going through, like you as well. I started helping or counseling people for the same reason, because I didn't want anyone else to go through the same thing. So it made me realize that the same disorder can be seen in various different phases in different people, and there is no common phase. Like everyone stigmatizes it, saying that it's just a type of a behavior and it can easily be overcome. Like it's just like that's a behavior. Why don't you just stop it? If you're eating too much, you know it consciously. Why don't you just stop it? For others, it's very obvious, but the person who is within that circle, it's very difficult to combat that feeling from inside and to cure yourself. So unless and until people are not understanding the same symptoms and the signs from outside and not supporting, you don't feel the validated. So that's a very good point that you state there. Apart from that, like I wanted to ask, how do you feel like self acceptance plays a role in this disorder?
Well, what do you mean by that?
Self acceptance, that I like how I said that accepting it within by myself, how did it change your story, like your personal experience when you accepted that you have this disorder, how the things started to look different for you?
So, I always knew that what I was doing was wrong, because I knew that it was not normal to want to. I had this specific order of eating food. I knew that it was not normal. So it was really easy for me to accept that what I was doing was wrong. But when I did accept, because there were some moments when I thought that what I was doing was okay, because I always thought I only had orthorexia, because I started with orthorexia. And when I got diagnosed with anorexia, I was in denial, because I was like, no, I have orthorexia. And I think when I finally accepted that I have anorexia, I realized that there is a problem that I have to solve. Because when lots of people, they will deny, they will say that it's not anything wrong, but when you finally accept that there is a problem that you need to solve, you can finally move on to solving it. The first step though is accepting.
And how important is the role of family or the support system around you in the disorder?
So important. Your family, just like in surgery, they won't let you go into surgery when you don't have a support system. So you need a support system during this, because it is so important. It is such a hard battle. I've been battling my eating disorder for over a year and a half, and it's so hard. And you need someone to support you. Everyone, I know lots of people, they tell me that they don't want to tell their parents because they're scared. And if parents, I know there are some parents who don't accept it. Like my dad, personally, he doesn't really accept mental illnesses. So, but I have my mum, and my mum will help me through whatever. And I have people at school, I have friends, and you will always find someone who will help you. There will always be someone.
So, how do you feel that fighting the stigmas in the society has made it more difficult for you to go through the treatment or the therapy?
So I did not want to recover for a long time because especially with anorexia,
Mhm.
I'm not saying that it's not with any other eating disorder because it happens with a lot of other eating disorders and other disorders mental too. But I felt like I wasn't sick enough, so I wanted to get worse and worse. And then I was in this mindset when I was at my worst and I wanted to stay there because I felt like I was no one without anorexia. Because before my eating disorder, I was bullied. I in school by these friends, and when I started losing weight, I got complimented a lot. I stopped being bullied in school. But the thing is, it was because I started being quiet. It wasn't because of how I looked like. It was because I started looking like a ghost. I was just sick. I was white. I was not like not like racially white, but my face was completely pale because I just didn't have enough food to manage. So people didn't stop bullying me because of how I looked like. They stopped bullying me because they were scared of me because I looked horrible, and I acted so mean because when you don't have when you don't have food, you don't have energy, and when you don't have energy, you don't have control of your emotions and of your body. So I had tantrums and everything. I had manic episodes, and this was all because I didn't eat enough. So the question, what was the question? I think I've got a bit.
It's about the support system that I was asking. How important do you feel, and even fighting the stigma in your therapy?
Yeah. So the support system, I needed the support system because they helped me every step of the way. My mom was the one who made me choose recovery, and my Instagram account, I received messages every single day about people who tell me that I saved them and things like this. So that is what keeps me going. That is my support system. And fighting stigmas, everyone has to fight stigmas, whether it's because of mental illnesses and it's horrible, racial illnesses, cultural, it's completely horrible. There are biases, there are stigmas, there are what people expect from you. So everyone has to fight it every single day, and I just believe that it should stop because it's making life so much harder than it has to be, and some people just have it in them to bully others. But I would like to say that there's no mean people, in my opinion. There's only people who are either having a bad day or they feel insecure about themselves and they're taking it out on you. So about the stigmas, if they're bullying you, I would say it's because they're insecure about themselves or they're having a bad day. So never feel like it's a comment about you or how you look like. It's always a comment about themselves and what they think of themselves.
So it's very difficult to do what you said. Like, when the bully comes in thinking that it's not personal is very, very difficult, because whenever the judgments or any kind of statements are made or claimed around you, you cannot force yourself to start thinking that the world is not bad, or you start cursing yourself because you cannot go and change everyone's opinion. So the only easy thing to do is self blame, self guilt, like self esteem, lowering the self confidence, or whatever you can do to yourself, self harm. That's all this underlying causes, or whatever is comes out on the surface. So what would you say that what kind of tips would you say that it is that people should opt for in whenever they are subjected to bullying?
So you need to find a good coping mechanism. As you said, self-harm, that is a coping mechanism, but it is not a good one. It's when you're taking out on yourself. But you need to instead of taking it out on yourself, you need to take it out of yourself and onto a canvas, into a book, into the earphones of your music. You need to find something that works for you. For me personally, Sudoku really helps. I play Sudoku when I feel guilty, when I'm having a bad day, because Sudoku really helps concentrate your mind on something else other than the problems at hand. And I would definitely say journaling is helpful. I can get it now. I have these two diary books,
Oh,
and it's like you write 2 or 3 sentences every day. And wait, I'll open it for you. You have 5 years, so I'm on year one. I started it this year, and it's really helpful because it gets all my emotions out, and it's the most honest thing I have. And then another good coping mechanism, you should talk to someone. Like I said, support systems are really important. So finding that one person, that one friend. I remember when I was at my worst, I had this one amazing friend who I met in the hospital, and I just called her. Even though it was 3 a.m. in the morning, I called her and she picked up and she just stayed listening to me, because you need to find that one person or the people who will help you through this. Because if they don't like you at your best, they will never, sorry, if they don't like you at your worst, they will never like you at your best. You need to have people who will take your worst and embrace it and help you through it so that you get to better days. And I just need to remind you that a storm always passes. There's never a storm that goes for infinity long. The storm will pass, the sun will shine, and rainbows will come, and life will be good again, because you just have to hang in there. And it's so hard because life is so freaking hard. And sometimes I used to be suicidal, so I know how hard it is. And tomorrow is actually the anniversary of my first suicide attempt. So, but I'm here, and I'm saying from personal experience, life is worth living. Life is so amazing, and you need to live, because there are so many people, even though you feel like not, there are so many people that want you to be here, and there are so many people who matter, and you matter to them.
I mean, you are absolutely cool and amazing. I don't know how do you manage to do it, and the way you have taught yourself through this recovery, you are more amazing than me as a professional eating disorder counselor. I can say I should learn how to do it from you, because it's amazing that how you have embraced yourself and carved a person out of yourself who is yourself a therapy. Like hearing you can be a therapy, good therapy. I will tell you, like if me in that binge eating disorder position, if I would have heard you, really, I would have loved myself no matter how I looked, what I was. I was obese, like half of my 20 till 21, 22, I was obese. And that made my self confidence go so low that I felt like I was not worth of anything. It was so much worse that I am a very big foodie. I love exploring all the cuisines all over the world. So I go around, I eat, but every time I would eat, I would feel bad about the way I look. So that became so much connected and linked that getting out of it was around 2 years of hard work. The way you still are so brave to stand and say that I had an episode yesterday, I had this and I'm going through this, but I'm still ready to heal others. You are amazing. The way like you,
Oh, that makes me so happy.
yeah, it's like hearing a healer. It gives you that kind of healer power, that the way you are brave and courageous to come out in front of these many million, like the way Instagram public is supporting you, you are coming and taking their fear out by your own personal experience. You say it that I have it, so they all relate that okay, it happens with everyone, and that's okay to have whatever I'm going through. It's the power that you give others. It's really a superpower that I feel like when you come in front and you say that I have it, it gives people the courage to see that, okay, normalize what kind of condition I have, no matter it's anorexia, bulimia, or whatever eating disorder they are through. There are very few people who are educated about the different types, the signs that they first observe. They just go through those kind of symptoms and they kind of feel like it's not worthy to seek help for it. But when they understand or they educate themselves through you or through other sources, I feel that they get the courage to slowly come forward and say that, okay, now I'm ready to get the help. And that is where you are pulling the people out of the hole that they are living in. And I feel that you are amazing. The space that you have created around you and the positivity that you have within yourselves. It's amazing and it shines through. Even the comments of the people that I have read, it is more powerful than the messages I might have received from the clients by my profession, because I was paid and you are not. And it just makes a whole lot of difference that I might have been through it, I might have learned it by myself, but you have gone through and you're still living through it. So the energy you have is absolutely amazing, and I hope that you keep doing this amazing work. And apart from that, what kind of message would you want to give to people who are listening to this, um, who are going through, or even the younger self of yourself who was in denial with your disorder?
I would say I'm so flipping freaking whatever the heck proud of you, because it is such a hard battle and you are still fighting. And I'm honestly crying because this is such a really important thing to say, because living is hard and it is hard, but you get to live. You have one life. So don't waste it trying to please others and do things that you don't want to do. Don't live for others, because you have one life. You have one chance to explore this world. You should go save that money and go on that trip. Wear those heels. Eat that cake, because you have one life. You are never going to, unless you believe in reincarnation, you are never going to live again. You are going to be here. And the people who will remember you, they will remember you for your energy, your happiness. So live for yourself, don't live for anyone else, and live fully. That would be what I would say.
Thank you so, so much. And whatever, like, if anywhere, anyhow, if one thing that I can give you as an energy, as a binge eating, like as a binge eating disorder that I had by myself as well, any time in the life, if you feel like I can help you, or any professional tips that you might need, please feel free to get in touch with me. At the same time, I hope you a very, very, very speedy recovery, and I hope you keep spreading the sunshine within you outside. And I am blessed to have your 30 minutes today, because I will try to spread this message to as many people around me, because I come from India, and in India, eating disorders are very much less spoken about. So I feel like getting that education itself is the biggest step. More people know about it, more people kind of realize that they know that now they can see the signs even in others, and they can be a good support system, like you said, how important the society's support system is. So I had an amazing time with you. 30 minutes was great. Thank you so, so much for giving me your time.
Thank you for having me. What I really want in life is to help people, as I said, and to raise awareness about this. Like you said, in India and many other countries, their eating disorders aren't spoken about enough, and mental health too. So I just want to raise the message, and I take any opportunity I get. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely time and enjoy your weekend. Have a lovely school time as well. I hope you enjoy and do recover speedily and help others too.